10 Nights of Dreams, The Third Night by Natsume Soseki. I had a dream like this. I am carrying a 6-year-old child on my back. He is certainly my own child. But the strange thing is, at some point, his eyes have gone blind, and he has become a shaven-headed aobozu. When I asked, "When did your eyes go blind?" he replied, "Oh, a long time ago." His voice was unmistakably that of a child, but his manner of speaking was like that of an adult. Moreover, he spoke to me as an equal. On both sides are green rice fields. The path is narrow. Every now and then, the shadow of a heron flashes in the darkness. "We've reached the rice fields, haven't we?" he said from my back. "How do you know?" I asked, turning my face back toward him. "Because the herons are crying, aren't they?" he answered. And just then, a heron cried out twice. I began to feel a little afraid, even though he was my own child. I didn't know what would happen next if I kept carrying such a thing on my back. Looking ahead to see if there was somewhere I could abandon him, I saw a large forest in the darkness. Just as I started thinking that place would do, I heard a voice behind me. "Hee. What are you laughing at?" The child did not answer. He only asked, "Father, am I heavy?" "You're not heavy. You'll find me heavy soon," he said. I walked on in silence, aiming for the forest. The path through the fields meandered irregularly, and I couldn't seem to get out as I wished. After a while, the path diverged into two. I stood at the fork and rested for a moment. "There should be a stone standing here," the boy said. Sure enough, a stone about 8 inches square was standing there at waist height. On its face it said, "Left to Kubo, right to Hotahara." Even in the darkness, the red characters were clearly visible. The red characters were the color of a newt's belly. "The left would be better," the boy commanded. Looking to the left, the forest from earlier cast its dark shadow from high in the sky over our heads. I hesitated for a moment. "You don't need to hold back," the boy said again. I had no choice but to start walking toward the forest. While I was thinking to myself how well he knew everything despite being blind, as I approached the forest on the straight path, he said from my back, "Blindness is really inconvenient, isn't it? That's why I'm carrying you, so it's fine, isn't it?" I'm sorry for being carried, but it's terrible to be looked down upon by people. It's no good to be looked down upon, even by one's parents. I started to feel disgusted. I hurried, thinking I wanted to get to the forest quickly and abandon him. "You'll understand if you go a little further. It was just such a night as this," he was saying to himself on my back. "What was?" I asked in a strained voice. "What? You know perfectly well," the child answered mockingly. Then, I began to feel as if I did know, but I didn't understand it clearly. It only seemed as though it had been just such a night as this. And it seemed that if I went a little further, I would understand. It felt as though it would be terrible if I understood, so I felt I had to hurry and abandon him before I understood, to find peace of mind. I quickened my pace even more. Rain had been falling for some time. The path grew darker and darker. I was almost in a daze. Only the small boy was clinging to my back, and he was shining like a mirror that reflected my entire past, present, and future, without omitting a single fact. Moreover, he was my own child, and he was blind. I couldn't stand it anymore. It's here, right at the root of that cedar tree." In the rain, the boy's voice was clearly audible. Without realizing it, I had entered the forest. The black object about 6 feet ahead was certainly a cedar tree, just as the boy had said. "Father, it was right at the root of that cedar tree, wasn't it?" "Yes, that's right," I answered in spite of myself. "It was the year of the dragon, in the 5th year of Bunka, wasn't it?" Sure enough, it seemed to me that it had been the year of the dragon, in the 5th year of Bunka. "It was exactly 100 years ago today that you killed me, wasn't it?" As soon as I heard these words, the realization suddenly arose in my head that 100 years ago, on just such a dark night as this, in the year of the dragon, in the 5th year of Bunka, I had killed a blind man at the root of this cedar tree. The moment I realized for the first time that I was a murderer, the child on my back suddenly became as heavy as a stone Jizo statue.